Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Beata Matasan. For those of you who do not know me, and if you're a new subscriber or if you have been here, please give yourself a massive thumbs up. And I have been requested by numerous people to do this video, and I have done previous videos collaborating with other alumni. Please, if you haven't watched it, make sure that you do so. I will link it somewhere here so that after this you watch it, or before this you watch it, because it's very helpful. So before going any further, I have introduced myself. So I am a 2023-2024 Chivnin Scholar at the University of Glasgow, and I am also the 2022 Mandela Washington Fellow, or I'm now an alumni. And I was also a 2024 Mandela Washington reader, and I attended a virtual PDE. So, which means that you are getting, or you're about to get, the cutest tea from somebody that is kind of like, I'll call myself knowledgeable about this. However, I shall make a disclaimer that please know that this video is just based on my personal experience as somebody that has been in this journey, and I would just love to share those tips and tricks with you guys. It's an updated thing. It doesn't mean that these views come from anybody else that works at the American Embassy or whatnot. No. Yeah, so having said that, guys, I felt it very demure, that's on period, for me to be here, right? And if time allows, I'll also have a separate video of the Shipman Scholarship application. So I have written the points down here, so please don't be flabbergasted when you see me looking down, because I don't want to forget anything. And I also have my bottle right here, and I also have the questions here. So yeah, you guys need to know very well that this is a very competitive opportunity, because it needs about 700 African leaders from the African continent that will spend about 6 weeks at at United States of America. And if some are even lucky enough, they can spend more than 6 weeks. That is 6 weeks plus 4. That is those that will attend an in-person PDE. So please make sure that you take a pen and a paper and then you write this thing, because it's about to get demure. I know I'm abusing it, but that's on period. So moving on to the first question, one of the longest essays. It says, what motivates you to work in the field that you do? And what specific goals do you hope to achieve within that field? Please provide an overview of your major professional accomplishments from the past year, including specific examples of how these accomplishments have brought you closer to realizing these goals. And this is 250 words. So as you can see, or as you can see, the question is kind of like broad. It needs you to partition it in different sections, right? But before doing that, you have to understand exactly what is really meant, and you need to be a leader that has done a phenomenal job in that community, in that country, anywhere, wherever that you are. So it says, firstly, like, you need to know, why do you work in the area that you work, or that you are currently working in? Like, what really intrigued you as a person? You need to know what it is. And with this one, I would like to make a general advice to you guys. You should be sure that you know your niche. You don't want somebody else who'd be like, when you're reading the first essay, it doesn't kind of like blend well with the other essays. More like, okay, you seem to be somebody who that is over everywhere. You are like in the health sector, you are like in the education sector, you are like in different sectors. Like, it doesn't look so demure. Do you know what I'm saying? So it needs to look demure. Yeah, yeah. So having known where you currently work, or what is your niche, like, also what has really intrigued you to work there, or what has really bothered you. I'll make an example with myself. I work in the education sector mostly, but I'm an inclusive advocate. I was an inclusive education advocate, but right now I don't want to make it about education that much, but I want to make it about inclusion in different places. And this is one of the important things that I learned while at the US, that I don't just have to focus on education as much as I'm somebody that is in that field. So firstly, I would say I have two professions. I am a sign language interpreter and also a teacher by profession. So I feel like they kind of like blend very well. answering this question, like what had intrigued me, or why do I work in this area, is because I had seen, or I still do see, a lot of educational inequalities, or a lot of inequalities happening between the persons with disabilities and people without disabilities. And it's true, I said I'm a sign language interpreter, but I have shifted. I no longer wanted to just be restricted to my area of specialization. I wanted to be in a broad way. And it's not just even just about people with disabilities, but even the minority groups. We know there are other minority groups that are kind of like segregated in the community, so I don't really love that. However, I look more in that one of people with disabilities. So I was saying I was intrigued, or I am intrigued by the inequality that is there in the communities or everywhere around. So I really wanted to ensure that what there is equality. Yeah, there is equality inside the society, inside the community. Like I had said, I'm just going to make an example of what I had said before broadening up my scale. So there was little sign language interpreting happening around the in my country. It would be in specific or in certain parts and very limited. So I didn't really like that at all. For instance, you and I can agree that people with hearing loss do not access the same information as us. For instance, I can make this example of when it was COVID-19. COVID-19 hit a lot. People didn't know about it. And so you could just imagine when people with hearing loss, like kind of like had third hand information, like you like, okay, you're asking what is COVID-19, somebody else tells you something that they heard from somebody else, and you know that when you keep on telling information that is from somebody else, it's kind of like second-hand information. It's not even going to be that reliable. So those are kind of things that I didn't like to do. So hence I was like, okay, it's wise for me to be a sign language interpreter so that I can bridge the communication gap that is between the hearing and the non-hearing. Because when you are an interpreter, you are more like a middleman. You pass the message between the hearing and the non-hearing. And I'm saying the hearing, that is the hearing that doesn't know sign language, and then the non-hearing that um needs or knows sign language, because it's going to be a communication of those people. So I'm just a middleman between that. And in this one, if you are somebody that is in the health sector, there's a lot of mortality rate. There is, yeah. And then if you are somebody that is focused on youth, one of the worries of youth, you talk about what teenage pregnancy. You should make sure that you're talking about something that is relatable also. We're talking of inequality, we're talking of exclusion, we're talking of teenage pregnancy, we are talking of global warming or climate change, all those kind of things. And I would say that you should somehow show that you're somebody that is knowledgeable about all these things happening. You show that you know about the SDG Sustainable Development Goals, and you align whatever sustainable goal that you relate more with what you are doing or what you are already done. This is an opportunity for people that already have something that they're doing, not somebody that is kind of like, okay, I want to know. We want to see, okay, what have you done? Such that from point, maybe let me say you're at point B. How do you transition from point B to point C, D, like that? Because okay, let me not say they're not looking for somebody that is from point A. Like I'm saying, like you don't need to be somebody that hasn't done anything, like regardless of the number of steps that you have done. We just need to see, like, okay, this person is really working hard, whether you're collaborating with other people, whether you're doing what. But make sure that when you write, you're not going to be like we, because we're talking about you yourself. And then you provide specific goals that you hope to achieve within that field. More like, okay, I was worried about educational inequality or inequality that was there, so what was my goal? And then you state what your goal is, right? And your goal has to be aligned with what was really concerning, what had intrigued you to do whatever thing that you're doing. It shouldn't be something that was totally like too far. Yeah. So when I read a paper or essays from country X, I won't say which country is, because yeah, I'm being very demure, I'm being very mindful, I'm being very protective of the country. So there were some mistakes where people just were throwing things haphazardly. You couldn't feel like, where is this person really going, or what is the nature of this person, what is really happening. Somebody would just write one sentence whereby it's something that needs to be uh, 250 words, and that is not demure at all. Yeah. And then when you do this, you provide a major professional accomplishment that you have probably done. Major professional accomplishment. You get what I'm saying, right? So with me, which one can I make? Because there are a lot of major professional accomplishments that I've done, but I think that the closest one to my heart was working at one of the big universities in my country as a sign language interpreter that interpreted for the first ever, say that again, for the first ever student or hard of hearing student to complete a bachelor's degree. Like there hasn't been somebody else from the deaf community that had completed a bachelor's degree. So she did complete that within a period that was supposed to be there. That was 4 years. She didn't exceed the 4 years. It was in record time. So for me, that was a major professional accomplishment. Because I was like, okay, I'm able to kind of like bridge communication barrier, and I'm able to turn somebody's dream into life. In as much as I wasn't working alone, yes, I was the only interpreter for her, which was very, very, very tiresome. But there were some teachers that was her input also, and then other people that were supportive of her. Yeah. So when you give out this, whereby it says major, you said a major professional accomplishment, you make sure that you use the STAR approach. You'll never go wrong with that. It's very demure, it's very mindful. Like STAR approach, for those who do not know, you might Google it, but I can briefly say it. The STAR, S stands for situation, T task, A an action that you did, R stands for a result, and it obviously has to be a positive result, I would say. So you tell us, like, what was the situation? This is what is happening. Okay, fine. What did you do? Okay, this is what I did. All right. So after that, and then what was the action that you did, and then what was the result? In the result section, I would like you to state the steps also. More like, okay, before I did this, this is what was happening. And then after I did this, this is what happened. We're talking of change. We want to see if there was change. Firstly, there was no person or hard of hearing person that had completed a bachelor's degree, and ever since I did that, then she was one of, not she was one, she was uh, in that field. And then up until now, there's still nobody that has completed a bachelor's degree from a hard of hearing family or something like that in my country, that is Lesotho, right? And that brings what, I'm not sure whether you can see how sequential it is. You just have to do something like that, yeah. And then we have the second question that says, based on your understanding of your preferred institute track of study, what are the specific skills and knowledge you hope to gain from the fellowship that you would not be able to develop through other opportunities? How will those skills and knowledge enhance your activities in your community and help you realize the goals that you noted in the previous question? Okay, fine. It's still 250 words. The same thing, you need to partition it very, very, very much. So you need to know, like, we have about 3 tracks that I believe that through your research, you know what those 3 specific tracks are. And out of these 3 tracks, you need to know which one works best. Which one works best for you. Yes. And then it says, what skills do you hope to get from the fellowship? And that is obviously the skills that you wouldn't have got from anywhere else. Let me just make a simple example, right? Very demure, very mindful of my viewers. Yeah. So let's just pretend that these 2 things are bottles, both of them. Even this is a bottle. And then I get into a store. When I get into a store, I'm like, okay, this is a white bottle, this is a pink bottle. Why on earth would I take a white bottle as opposed to this one? Or why on earth would I take this pink bottle as opposed to this one? You get? So this question is about that. What would you get from this opportunity that you wouldn't obviously get from any other opportunities? There are a lot of examples that you do, and for instance, you go into the US. US is one of the most developed countries, and you know very well that there are a lot of skills, transferable skills that you would get from there, right? That are obviously not in Africa. So you want to emulate those skills, and then you stay. You're not gonna be like, it's because I want to get certain skill, blah blah blah. No, you tell us which skills, and those skills need to be aligned with what your goal, with what you are. That is gonna be very kind of demure, right? I'm sorry you're gonna get me talk about demure over and over again. Yeah. And then also, how will those skills and knowledge enhance your activities in your community? Remember, that's not about you. You don't be like, no, I always wanted to go to the US and that's it. No, you're not a leader if that's the case. A leader is somebody that is also selfless, right? A leader is somebody that leads by example. It's more like, have you seen birds? A big bird feeding its little ones. It will go and get food from wherever it does, and then after that, it gives back. So that is what we want to do. Hence, it's even more like, okay, after this, you are not allowed to go to the US back. You need to give back to the community, right? Yeah. So it's 250 words. You need to make sure that you don't exceed 250 words, and it doesn't mean that you need to, for you to say, yes, I know I nailed it, I would have to write 250 words. Somebody else can write a very comprehensive, a very demure statement, a very mindful statement, and be like, this is the person. Even if it doesn't exceed 200, even if it doesn't get to 250 words. But you need to make sure that your paper is advocating for you, right? Meaning that after reading the paper, remember that there won't be anybody else. Let me just say it's just me reading your paper. I won't have to be like, okay, so what was this person trying to say here? Or I won't be having many other questions after that. Your paper is the one. And I always like to tell people that, you know what, I like to say it's the first interview because it's going to be the other interview person, in-person interview, whether people are going to ask you facially or virtually. I don't know whichever one they will use. But you need to make sure that after writing this, I'm not going to have any questions about it. I'm going to be like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. And then we have the short essay, which is Nelson Mandela said, it is in your hands to make a better world for all who live in it. What are the greatest needs in your community, and how has your public and community service addressed these needs? Please include details explaining how your specific actions contributed to the improvements within your community. I'm sorry, guys, I'll be talking like, yeah, it's 150 words. So with this one, you can also hear what it really says, right? What are the biggest needs in your communities? You know your needs. You know the needs in your communities, and they need to be relatable. Like, you know them better than anybody else. And then how have you responded to these needs? So for me, because I said there was a lot of inequality, or there was a communication barrier between the hearing and then I'm hearing, I had volunteered myself in different platforms. I'm talking of churches, I'm talking of schools, I'm talking of universities, I'm talking of seminars, I'm talking of political rallies, I'm talking of literature television, I'm talking of big, like even on social media. I am here, I am here, I am here. Okay, I'm not saying anything right now, but I'm here. I'm just trying to show that I'm here signing, right? So because I just wanted to 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 do what? To have some equality. Make sense? Yeah, something like that. And then include the specific actions that contributed to improve in the community. And then I will give out, when you do this, remember star approach, my dear. STAR, right? STA what? R. Yeah. What is it that you have done, right, to improve in the community? And then the second example would be, I interpreted in the manifesto for the new political party that was formed in my country, because there was general elections. And then guess what? Wherever I am, we win. Honey, we win. Hence, I am giving you this because I know that after you apply all this, you're gonna be winning. Yeah. There are so many screenshots of people showing me, we're so happy we've been watching this, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you the truth, from LinkedIn, from all these other social media platforms. Because what? I am so demure. I'm so mindful. I like assisting people, but please know that I'm not reviewing any essays. Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying first. So, I guess I did interpret that, and then that party won, that political party won. It wasn't just that one, it was there was also the other political party. There was two political parties that approached me, or which I kind of like worked with. And guess what? Two of those political parties are in the coalition present in my country right now. And the leading one is the one that I also assisted. So, which means that I also participated in bringing that change. I'm not saying I'm the only one that did so. No, don't get me wrong. But I was one of the people that brought some change. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, wherever I am, we win. We win. That's so demure. That's all period. Okay. And then the second short one says, what steps do you regularly take to ensure inclusion of diverse identities and ideas in your work? Describe a time when you proactively work to reach diverse groups of people within your community, and how your specific actions were impactful to the experience. It's 150 words. The same way you use the STAR approach, and do not exceed 150 words. Please make sure that you use the STAR approach, because it's very, very much what important for you at this point in time. Like, write it in an orderly manner. And then the last question says, please describe a challenge or mistake or setback that you faced in detail, and the specific actions you took to address it effectively. How did this experience help you grow as a professional and as a leader? Do not lie and then say you have never had any setback or challenge, because it's not going to assist you in any way. As leaders, we are people that grow. We learn by mistakes, and the best teacher is experience, and it's also by mistakes. So make sure that whatever mistake that you opt for, it should be something that aligns to what you're doing. And for instance, I would say, for me, when I was still a very new and young interpreter, like, I would sign with two hands interchangeably, and that was really disturbing to the viewers, especially because I was in a public space. I would say I was on television. So this is because I'm naturally an ambidextrous person. I use two hands. I don't regard myself as a left-handed person. I don't regard myself as a right-handed person. I just use whichever hand that I have to use. So it kind of like taught me that is really, really disturbing, because if a deaf viewer is viewing, like, the next moment I'm using the right hand side, the next moment I'm using the left hand side, like, it's really confusing to somebody that is checking, and it kind of like brings not just confusion, but also it can also cause somebody to lose interest in watching it, because or lose focus, and that is not what we want. Remember, my goal was to bridge the communication barrier between the hearing and the deaf people. So because I was on television, I was interpreting the news bulletin, or one of the programs that was there, called Time is on Lesotho television. So it obviously doesn't assist in reaching my goal. So I transitioned from that due to due to me accepting positive criticism, because I had to learn, which is very complex, and which is like super challenging for me, like, to learn not to use two hands while signing in that way. Yes, you can use two hands while signing, but not interchangeably, because like it really wasn't demure at all. So we need demure stuff, right? So you can also do the same thing with you, like, try to check, okay, what is it that I have done that wasn't okay, and then I transitioned, and then how did this develop me professionally? So it really helped me professionally to be a good interpreter, especially because I was in a space whereby people were watching and people could copy things. So when you are in a public space, you always need to do good things, and also as a leader, also, not just being there as a leader, you need to lead by example. So I can't be leading by doing things that are not by misleading people. That is just something that I could literally say. So this is very, very much easy, guys. So please make sure that you listen to all that I said. You wrote all the important points. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask those questions here. Do not forget to subscribe also. Please, to also share this, and always know that you're gonna make it. Like, one thing that you need to know is to believe in yourself. One thing that you need to do is to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself as a person, then the world cannot believe in you also. Like, you need to cultivate for your future, and nobody else will come and then rescue you, or in some type of way. So it's just a beautiful thing that is gonna happen, and I wish you all the best, guys. Bye. I love you.